Yes guys, welcome to another video. Today is going to be a special. It's going to be the top 10 moments of the decade, and I can't believe it's already been a whole decade since 2010. Like, about to be, very soon.
I can't believe it's the end of 2019.
Correct.
10 years you were like a 13-year-old boy 10 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. What we've done is we've made the top 10 lists the top 10 moments of the decade, and to be honest, when you look at this decade, this is probably one of the worst ever decades for us because we ain't won.
What?
No, on paper, because we ain't won a single trophy.
I tell you what, Sam. It's a good job you don't remember what happened before you were 13, because then
I do remember actually very well. Yeah, before I was 13, we won a trophy.
This video is kindly sponsored by the OneFootball app. The OneFootball app is the perfect app that gives you up-to-date news about your team, about your players, about your manager. The list goes on. The OneFootball app also covers foreign leagues for foreign clubs that you might follow, with up-to-date news on that as well. So go and download the app right now. The link is in the description below.
It's not just about winning a trophy.
No, yeah, I know, but
it's about having a team that actually looks as if it could do
arguing.
something.
Well, anyway, we'll put those arguments aside and we'll just look at the top 10 moments where you guys have put on my Instagram and on the YouTube comments your favourite moments. And we picked a list, and number 10 goes by the first person, M_Rebek, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, saying, watching the first ever game in the new stadium in all honesty. That's number 10.
That was actually an emotional time. I felt a lump in my throat and a warmth to my heart when I sat in my seat in the new stadium. Waited years, and it was beautiful. I mean, I left that place thinking, wow, this is the best stadium I've ever sat in my whole life. Everything was done correctly. Your pipe was poured from the bottom. The vision was great from every aspect of the stadium. Everything was good.
Okay, so in this comment, he actually wrote a lot of them, so I'm only going to pick one of them because I did say choose one moment. It's when we beat Chelsea 5-3 in the first day of 2015 of the new year against Chelsea, 5-3. The reason why I think that this is a crucial moment of the decade was because that match alone was like the laying foundation of what was to be the start of key players that we have, like Harry Kane, Jan Vertonghen, Hugo Lloris in goal. It was just a phenomenal match, wasn't it?
Now, if I remember it rightly, we had lost so many games against Chelsea before that. That was the first game that we'd beaten them for a long time. And that was a massive change as well. That finally, that horrible lot succumbed to our power.
Yeah, but we got to highlight though Harry Kane's performance in that game.
Absolutely.
The first goal that Harry Kane scored to equalise, he started it off with the wing and he was out of position when he was there. Just dribbles his way through the middle, passing by Matic, passing by Terry, and then just that Wallop. Shot.
Wallop.
Courtois had no chance saving that.
Wallop.
It was brilliant. It was phenomenal.
In the top 10. Number 8 is the 3-2 win at the Emirates. 2010, I think it was.
Yeah, it was 2010.
2-0 down at half time.
2-0 down in the first half. I think Shamak got the goal, and I think Nasri got the other goal as well.
Yeah. When we brought it back to 2-2, Bale got one goal, didn't it? I see to call him.
Bale made it 2-1, yeah.
Yeah, and who got the 2-2?
Van der Vaart penalty.
Van der Vaart, that's it. And then Kabullet. Ball comes over, Bosch on his head, straight through, wallop, 3-2, come on.
You know what the best part of that was? Imagine this is my bottle and I'm Wenger and he just does that.
That's when he threw the bottle.
He was fuming. You love to see those scenes. I couldn't believe it when watching that on the TV that we actually won that. Alright, so now this brings us on to number 7, and that is again another game in the North London derby, this time with Danny Rose's debut goal.
Oh yeah.
Was it Szczesny as a keeper? I can't remember who it was, but he punched it and the ball went just in front of the halfway line, I think, and it was a wild punch. The ball went far away. Before the ball is even remotely touching the ground, Danny Rose, who is having an awful game, decides to just smash it, and on his debut, it goes in the back of the net from a spectacular volley. It was brilliant.
He got legendary status after that, Danny Rose.
He got subbed off, I think, after the first half. Yeah.
Who was our manager then?
Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp just started him because I think we were a little bit screwed for... He wasn't even playing as a left back. He was either playing as a winger or a cam. I can't remember.
It was definitely on the left side that he shot it. I remember that.
It was on the left side. Yeah. But that was a fantastic goal. Okay, now this brings us on to number 6, more recent events. Wembley Stadium, when we were having to temporarily play there, was beating Real Madrid 3-1 at home in the Champions League group stage. The season where we had the table of death and we dominated it. We had Real Madrid, we had Dortmund in that group, and we absolutely annihilated all of them. It was fantastic. But the game alone was just something so special. 3-1 it was. Dele Alli with the 2 goals, with an unbelievable assist from Trippier, although he looked offside in the build-up to it, but apparently he wasn't.
I would have called that one out.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. And then Eriksen's goal in the counter-attack. When the third goal went in.
We went mental.
The limbs were insane. You can see it here in the matchday vlog. Everyone, even the quiet fans like yourself, now I'm joking, was losing their heads, losing their voices. It was something special. We beat a team that were winning back-to-back Champions League. And they won it again this season.
And Ronaldo was playing.
And he scored.
That was, I tell you what made that day extra special, was that it was the best team that we'd played against. And to beat the best team that we've ever played against, 3-1 in properly convincing style. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic.
Number 5 is, I think, finishing above Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
It took a long while. I mean, years and years ago, there were times of misery.
Times of misery. They were celebrating it with this whole St. Tottenham thing.
I know. And then, less years ago, there were those stages when they poisoned our pizzas and stuff like that, or lasagna.
Lasagna, yeah.
Where it should have happened, it didn't. This time, it finally flipping happened, and it's happened virtually ever since.
I think that season we were so angry we wanted to finish above them because, well, we came third in a 2-horse race the season before. That is something we don't talk about, but
we don't talk about.
We had to beat Arsenal to go above them mathematically, so the timing was perfect. It was all there on the table, and I just remember before that game was even starting, something is bound to go wrong. I thought it in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to think.
You always think negatively, though. It's rare that you go into a game thinking positively.
No, that's not true. And also, yeah, this was the game where it depended on everything to finish above Arsenal. We were having a stupendous season, and we had to beat them. And we never finished above Arsenal before. In my lifetime, we never finished above Arsenal.
That.
So that feeling was something that was that was making me nervous. It was making me anxious. But we did it.
Brilliant.
A brilliant goal from Dele Alli. Penalty kick from Harry Kane. It was just brilliant. We shut those mugs up from down the road, and we just completely annihilated them at the New Lane. We should have won by more, to be fair. Yeah. But the result was amazing. Brilliant. The atmosphere was amazing, and that is number 5. Finishing above Arsenal. Right, we're approaching number 4, and this is now becoming quite sentimental. This was in our first Champions League campaign. Where we had to play Inter Milan. 4-0 down in the first half. Gomez sent off. Modric taken off. Just when you think all hell is about to break loose, well, it didn't. Bale, who was playing as a left back / winger, hat-trick. His speed was incredible that game.
Are you talking about the away game or are you talking about the home game?
We can talk about both because they were both brilliant. They're both going on number 4.
I couldn't go on that away game, but I went to the home game where we were sitting just above where Gareth Bale was running down the left wing.
Yeah.
He knocked the ball past their fast defender. He was a good defender, their right back. And over 60 metres or whatever it was, Bale skinned him, took the ball in,
I remember watching that.
on his left and tucked it past the goal.
Atmosphere.
And it was one of the best goals I've seen.
This is the second game you're on about.
Yeah.
I agree, because of how well we've been playing lately, these moments tend to get forgotten, but you don't understand. These were on another level because it was like we weren't even good as a team. We just worked hard to get to top 4. And the fact that we pushed in that performance was almost like a small team against odds, fighting back at the bigger club, at the bigger team of players.
That was a campaign that Crouchy got the goal to get us into, yeah? Number 3 is the goal that Crouchy got against Man City, away at Man City, to get us into the Champions League, for Bale to have that run.
I remember watching the limbs on that TV.
Unbelievable.
That was 10 out of 10 limbs.
Yeah, because that was the first year that we were going to play Champions League football.
Yeah.
It was like the most massive, huge thing.
Yeah, that was the starter of what got us to introduce elite European football. Because I remember we had a goal denied and thought we were there because we were doing so well that game. I think it was a header from King, or it might have been a tapping from Crouch. I can't remember what it was. But the second time, this time it was for real. The cross from, who was it, Aaron Lennon? Or whoever it was, I can't even remember. But what I do remember is the finish of Crouch's header.
Brilliant.
And the eruption of the limbs behind the goal. It was fantastic, it was incredible. And for me, that goes to number 3 because that is just a very special moment that happened in that decade. Okay, so now before we get to the top 2, we're gonna chuck out some honourable shouts that didn't quite make it to the top 10, but definitely do deserve to have a talk on it. One of them was definitely Ali's goal against Crystal Palace. I mean,
when he bosh,
yeah. It was just brilliant. The control that he had of that ball and the finish was incredible.
The other one, Wanyama's goal against Liverpool.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Late on in the game, the ball comes at some speed to him, doesn't it?
Yeah, Gareth punched it out and it was rolling, and
he walloped it in.
60 miles an hour, pure Kenyan power like a cheetah. That's what it was like. It was 60 miles an hour.
Who measured that then?
Well, the TV, the Sky Sports did. 60 miles an hour that shot was.
I think a cheetah can actually get up to 66 miles an hour, but
it doesn't matter. It's the average speed of a cheetah.
Yeah.
Another honourable shout out, definitely for me, has to be the Gareth Bale goal versus West Ham.
Oh, we were 2-2.
2-2. We were 2-1 down.
Just after the halfway line.
He got knocked over, ref played advantage, got immediately back up. I remember Tommy Carroll was running into the box thinking he might pass it to him. Bale said, nah, screw that, went for the shot, and there it went into the back of the net.
Right, wasn't it?
Yeah,
lovely.
It was beautiful. And the last shout out that we're going to give is our most recent North London derby, when it was at Wembley. And okay, the game was awful alone, but the consequences and the legacy of that game makes it even better. What happened was we were playing awful, and well, just as when we thought we may be able to win this game after Kane equaliser, Sanchez is chasing Aubameyang and Aubameyang dives, wins a penalty, but then that scowl from Lloris was what made him put it off and he saved it. I remember giving that abuse to the Arsenal fans. Right, well this is it now. This is it. Number 2 of the top 10 moments of the decade.
This is the City away game.
The game alone was just phenomenal.
The Champions League from last year.
Quarterfinals.
Where we went into it, even though we were 1-0 up.
Yeah, we were 1-0 up in the first leg.
Yeah, and we thought
Sterling got like an instant goal in the first.
Instant goal. Yeah. That mad first 20 minutes.
Mad 20 minutes. They get Son then got 2 goals.
Son, beautiful 2 goals.
Yeah!
And then it looked like it was going all wrong.
Yeah, looked like it was all going wrong.
And it was a soap opera of a game.
It was like Game of Thrones.
Hugest emotions up, hugest emotions down in split seconds.
Split seconds.
The VAR.
The VAR.
The VA bloody R.
Now that was fantastic.
Llorente's handball goal. Fantastic.
It wasn't a handball though.
Well,
it hit his hip. It hit his hip.
Whatever.
I'm adamant it wasn't a handball goal.
Ericsson passes the ball back. What did he do that for?
Ericsson! Don't lose the ball! No!
Sterling picks the ball up. Bosch under Lloris, and everybody's like this. We're crying in our lounge here. Oh no! Oh no! Didn't even think of VAR, and then one of the little boys said,
"He's offside."
No!
I think he was offside, and you say, "Oh, shut up, he was never offside." I think they're going to VAR it.
He's going to VAR! No!
That was it. Brilliant.
That was incredible, man. That video got 500,000 views, man. And do you know what's mad? 500,000 people decided to watch that video of us in that living room over there.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I never want to move out of this house because when I look through that living room, it just reminds me of that video alone and that moment.
You're 24, you're leaving.
Number one, you probably was going to predict very well what this was going to be for first place. In fact, all of you here pretty much said it. I mean, the comments are everywhere around this screen. But number one, without a doubt, has to be the second leg of Ajax in the Champions League semi-final that brings us to the Champions League.
Unbelievable. 2-0 down at half time. We're coming out, we're like this, we're like that.
I wasn't even like that, I couldn't be bothered. I was accepting the consequences like, well, we're not going to get it. I just sat there defeated, honestly.
And then it was that masterful change. It was bringing Llorente on, and he muscled them out of the back. And then Lucas Moura gets the first goal, and we think, oh, hello, might have a little chance here. When that second goal goes in, and then it's end to end, and then take us up to the rest of it.
Honestly, it was one of those moments where we felt like the whole world was pausing around us, and it was just us, it was just Jesse, it was just Alex, and Patch as well in the room.
Hey, Patchy.
And it goes over to Davis. Davis gets it to Sissoko. Sissoko hooves it. I say to Llorente, Llorente, use your head properly. Gets it to Ali. Through ball. Lucas Moura. Oh!
It was unreal.
Honestly, my life peaked at that moment. Did yours not peak at that moment?
Well, it was a rather happy moment.
It did peak, don't try and deny it. Mate, football is a beautiful sport, and just admit your happiest moment was over a game of football. It was better than your marriage, it was better than me as a firstborn and all of your other children. It was better than getting Patch the first day as a puppy. That moment, you will never find another moment in life than that moment itself. Don't even bother denying it because you know it's true.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Patchy.
Well, that was the top 10 moments of the decade. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Let me know if there was any other moments you wish to have seen on that moment. But I think that is fair to say we've had a very interesting decade. Now, hopefully, when 2020 is coming, within this decade, we'll be able to win some trophies.
2029, next one.
Next one, if I'm still around with the YouTube channel.